Tyler Jackson of PlaySheetSports.com here, and I am joined by Oak Hill Red Devils head coach Davon Marion. Davon, thank you for having me down today. Really warm day out here on the
Yeah.
turf.
Oh, yeah. It got warm on us. Last week we practiced every morning, other than our midnight practice. Got out here on the turf in the evening yesterday, and it was fairly warm. But today it warmed up a lot, so we're gonna modify practice a little bit, add a few more breaks. But it's a good day for football.
Well, see, that's the good thing is that it gets you prepared for football. You never
Yeah.
know what to expect, and I think this is a good opportunity to kind of get in, line for that. Be prepared for
Yeah,
anything.
everyone knows that first game is full of cramps and it's really hot. So this is a good test and a good show of what it may feel like on our first game night.
Absolutely. Well, I want to go ahead and recap last season a little bit. You guys
Yes,
finished
sir.
10-2. You hosted the playoff game and won a playoff game for the first time, I believe, in 24 years.
Yes,
So
sir.
it was a massive deal for everybody. You ended up falling to the eventual state runner-up in Herbert Hoover, but overall, an incredibly successful season, especially after year two. Now,
Yes,
you
sir.
and I were just talking a little bit before that, but you graduated some key players: J.D. Moritz, starting quarterback Devin Richardson,
Yeah.
and lineman Brandon Champion. But outside of that, you bring back, I think, four skill players
Yes,
that
sir.
played meaningful time.
Yes,
You
sir.
said you bring back five offensive linemen. So just
Yes.
talk to me about the outlook of what the season looks like
Uh,
early.
the goals stay the same. We want to play as deep into the playoffs as possible, and these kids have put the work in for it. And you just said it. We're going to lean on our big guys up front. They're all experienced and have been there and done that before. Uh, yeah, all four of our starting receivers has started games last year for us, and have played big in big spots for us, honestly. And we're going to try out a new quarterback, and we're going to see what he can do in his first scrimmage. Spring Valley's no slouch. So we lost a lot, but we also brought back a lot, and we're just up for the challenge. We want to prove that we belong with them top tier programs, and I think honestly, other than Princeton, if you cut through Charleston, even include Riverside, I think we've been somewhere in that 1-2 mark in area teams, and we just want to show that we belong. Like we've been working for recognition, and we just want to keep growing our program.
Yeah. Now, do you feel like coming into year three that there's a little bit more excitement in camp? Because, there's always room for skepticism that first year, but it's like, okay, we made the playoffs. In year two, it's like, oh, not only did we make the playoffs,
Yeah,
we host the playoff game in the snow, and, we won a playoff game. So
yeah.
that I feel like that kind of opens things up a
Uh,
little bit more. Have you
the
felt that?
the excitement comes from the number of kids that we have out. When I first got here, we were hoping that we just had at least 40, and now we're in that 50 kid mark. So that's what I think the excitement is. But as far as like leadership, those guys are just focused. They're excited, but they're focused. They understand that we got a chance with this group to make another playoff run, and these seniors want to do it. Our junior class haven't experienced losing like that yet, so they want to maintain that, and that's where the excitement comes from. The number of kids that we finally have out. We have 25 freshmen out, so we're really setting our program up for a great future. And these kids they're excited, but they're focused. They know what they want to do and how to get to that point.
Now, I know you're a Fayette County guy,
Oh
Mount
yeah,
Hope, and Mount Hope's consolidated, and some of those kids are up here. That's been well over 15 years
yes sir.
ago. But I mean, do you still take a lot of pride? I know that Oak Hill was kind of I don't want to say a rival for you because they were triple A, double A school at that point, and you guys were single
Oh,
A.
they
But
were
you
a
probably
rival.
knew a lot.
They
Okay,
were a rival.
all right. So
Yeah,
you still take a lot of pride in just being back and spiritually coaching some
yeah,
of the programs that you were a part of, because I mean, and there's so much that's transpired. We talked about the playoff wins, but
right.
also like I mean, you guys got a brand new field, this
Yes
whole
sir.
facility. Like I remember your first year coaching, you guys beat Bluefield in the mud, and
Yeah,
you over
yeah.
there you were standing in sneakers in like water that
You
was
couldn't see my
3 inches
soles
up.
over
Yeah,
there, man.
but yeah, you guys fought through it, and then it happened sort of quickly. So I mean, I just talk about just the growth of the program all around, not just with the kids, but the amenities, because I feel like kids get excited when they get new
Yeah,
things too.
and that's another thing. I feel like our kids after my first year had deserved it. The kids before that deserved it, but once you start winning, and my first year we had a chance to host the home playoff game, you want to have something that not only your community and your school can have take pride in, but you want the visiting team to come and be like, these guys are doing it right. So I can only give credit to our board and our admin for making it happen, and I'm just appreciative that they did. The kids love it. even though sometimes it gets real hot. They they love coming out here and just taking pride in our facilities. We're working on a new equipment in our weight room and things like that. Like we're a little behind, but we're having the resources and support needed from this community to keep elevating our facilities and things like that.
Now, to be a top tier program,
Yes, sir.
details are so huge.
Yeah.
And I mean, when you were a defensive coordinator at Princeton, obviously you had turf field over
Yes,
there.
sir.
But I remember when Coach Moneypenny was here, one thing he talked about when the Raleigh County schools were getting it was it helps you with teaching points so much, the
Yeah.
landmarks and different things like
Yeah.
that. Take me through that because I kind
That's
of get that.
Yeah, that's honestly one of the biggest things. Like you tell a kid on a grass field with no lines or a paint job on it, you tell them run a 10 and in, they're trying to count steps of what they feel like would be 10 yards and it's really 6 or it's really 15. So just having those landmarks to hit is critical with route running. Our DBs know, okay, I need to be 7 yards off or whatever, 7 yards, or if I'm pressing, like how far off I need to press and things like that. So just having the ticks on the field and understanding your depth from the opponent, like whether it's receiver or on defense, that just goes a long way. So just getting turf with lines on it, consistent lines, and actually being able to run 6 yards and cut, 7 yards and cut has been huge. Like we throw the ball. So our kids gotta know where 10 yards is. So just getting this turf out here has helped us a lot in that aspect.
Now I've written about it before, but I talked to your old head coach Chris Pedigo, and
Yes, sir.
I asked him because I was curious. Every time you seem to be the guy that you have a good game plan against a bunch of different teams. Your last year
Yeah.
defensive coordinator against Bridgeport, you held them, I think, in check, where you guys went up there
Yeah.
and you won. They had a bunch of yards, but you kept them out of the end zone.
Right.
And then last year you done it really well. You do a good job putting together a really good defensive game
Yeah.
plan. I know you don't want to give away too much, but take me through what goes through that because that's there are a couple of games you can just point out and like that's kind of a masterpiece with the way that they've
Yeah.
limited them. And I know you take a lot of pride in that, but what goes into making a great defensive
Uh,
game plan?
First, I'll start with that playoff game that was 70-73 in Princeton. I'd like to take a little credit for that defensive scheme. I'm just saying. But honestly, I played defense in college and was an All American, so I lean my hat on that. And we preach that to our kids. If they don't score, we can't lose. So me and our defensive coordinator, Coach John Arthur, we scheme all week. We teach together at the high school, so we'll text each other some ideas and things like that. And if we get a free planning period or something, we'll run ideas by one another because we want to make sure that our defense is hitting on all cylinders. Obviously, I think we've only scored over 30 twice or maybe 3 times since I've been here. So we're leaning real heavy on defense and making sure they understand alignment, assignment, and key, and that they're playing fast. Even through mistakes, just play fast. So there's a lot that goes into game planning. We give defense two two full days of preparation each week, and offense gets a day and a half. So we're leaning on defense, and we understand that if we keep them out of the end zone, we'll find a way to get in the end zone. So lean our hat on defense.
You brought up the offense, and that was one thing that I openly had some reservations
Yeah.
about was the scoring, and obviously you said you put enough together enough defense to where it didn't matter. Coming into this year, do you feel like and I know it's like silly to kind of
Right.
hey
No,
we
I
want to
get
hit
it.
the 30-point goal. But do you feel like, hey, like we, over the first 2 years, we recognize that we probably haven't been where we want to
Yeah.
offensively, so we want to get there? And how do you get to that point?
Um, just more reps. I feel like my first year here, it in the first spring I got here, we had 30 people consistently at weight room, and they got out here on the field and without coaches. They stayed after weightlifting. They worked on route concepts and things like that. And I felt like they got us a jump. They went from wing tee to spread offense. So they were
Mm-hmm.
trying to get a jump on it. And then I think last offseason, we kind of fell back from that a little bit because Malachi Lewis and Devin Richardson are special in their own ways, but we didn't get Devin until last June. So it kind of slowed us down a little bit because I feel like we'd have had him throughout the spring, that we may have been a step further on offense. But either way, just taking some lumps on offense and scratch off what worked, what didn't work. Looking back at game films throughout the past 2 years or whenever Oak Hill's played an opponent just to see what they do on defense. And a lot of teams are th- they give us different schemes than they do other teams. So sometimes we show up on game day and like we have no clue what they've done until mid first or second quarter. We'll watch a little bit of live stream back and make some adjustments from there. I feel like we've always been a second half team on offense because we get a chance to watch and adjust because teams play us different than we scout for.
It's nice having those guys at quarterback that can make it right no,
Yeah,
no
yeah,
matter what you
yeah.
call
When
them.
you got athletes back there, sometimes it really don't matter what you call. Just let athletes play football, man.
Absolutely. Now, you guys, it's different this year. You'll be in Quad A. You're
Yes,
one of
sir.
the smallest Quad A schools.
Yep.
You're kind of right there on the border. You know, does the approach change any? Obviously, you've got a tough route to go. I mean, you know all about this. You've
Yeah.
always played really good teams
And
wherever you've been. You know, at the when you were at Concord, you guys were perennial right
yeah,
there.
yeah.
Played for high level football.
Uh, as of now, the approach hasn't changed much, but the message has. I want our kids to understand that we're gonna be in quad A, regardless of if they redid the classifications with a new formula. I expect us to be in quad A, just understanding that we're never going back down, but we have the talent to compete in quad A. Like we're fighting for what spot we fall in, of course, but we're a quad A team, and I feel like we got quad A talent, and we just got to get it on the field and prep these kids up